It is common to see Alexander Magnus being represented as a sexual, addicted man that has no limits nor restraints in his desires. But what do the sources say about it? What the great historians of antiquity say about Alexander's virtue? In this video, I will show the real Alexander, as told to us by Plutarch in his famous book, Parallel Lives. After the Battle of Issus, Alexander captured Darius' mother, wife, and two of his daughters. Many would think that the conqueror of Persia would mistreat his prisoners as a way to force Darius to surrender. What really happened is quite the contrary, as Plutarch describes. But the noblest and most royal part of their usage was that he treated these illustrious prisoners according to their virtue and character, not suffering them to hear or receive, or so much as to apprehend anything that was unbecoming, so that they seemed rather lodged in some temple or some holy virgin chambers, where they enjoyed their privacy sacred and uninterrupted, than in the camp of an enemy. Nevertheless, Darius' wife was accounted the most beautiful princess alive, as her husband the tallest and handsomest man of his time, and the daughters were not unworthy of their parents. But Alexander, esteeming it more kingly to govern himself than to conquer his enemies, sought no intimacy with any of them. Another commonly misconception given by the media about Alexander is about his supposed homosexuality. Plutarch remarks when one of his lieutenants offered the conqueror two young boys. When Philoxenus, his lieutenant on the seacoast, wrote to him to know if he would buy two young boys of great beauty, whom one Theodorus, a Tarentine, had to sell, he was so offended that he often expostulated with his friends what baseness Philoxenus had ever observed in him, that he should presume to make him such a reproachful offer. And he immediately wrote him a very sharp letter, telling him Theodorus and his merchandise might go with his goodwill to destruction. Nor was he less severe to Hagnon, who sent him word he would buy a Corinthian youth named Crobilus as a present for him. Alexander was also known, to the people of antiquity at least, to be extremely severe with the crimes that his officers committed in the Persian campaign. And hearing that two of Parmenius' Macedonian soldiers had abused the wives of some strangers who were in his pay, he wrote to Parmenio, charging him strictly, if he found them guilty, to put them to death as wild beasts that were only made for the mischief of mankind. When speaking of sexual relations, Alexander would say the following: that sleep and the act of generation chiefly made him sensible that he was mortal, as much as to say that weariness and pleasure proceed both from the same frailty and imbecility of the human nature. I presume that you never heard any of these quotes before, and would never imagine that Alexander was such a virtuous man. If you want to know more about real history, subscribe to the channel and like the video. It will help immensely. See you soon.